It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what is going on, good kind of people? Lee Sanders with you guys for this Monday night of May 13th, 2024. How y'all been? I hope you guys been doing fantastic. We got a nice, well-rounded episode for you guys tonight. Why am I just now hearing the USB connection thing go off? I have the slightest clue. Anyway, we have a great show planned for you all tonight. Definitely going to be talking about key points from tonight's WWE Raw. Get that full review in there as well. Talk a little wrestling headlines. Couple of entertainment headlines as well. I hate coming on while our NBA playoff game, it was a double header tonight. I think that second header is almost over with, though, as the NBA post show is getting ready to come on. Apparently, Bill Simmons revealed on his podcast that dropped earlier today that from what he's been hearing from his respected sources, the NBA is going to be heading to NBC, and it looks as though the official announcement for that is not going to be made until after the playoffs is over. If that really is the case, I know some people kind of chuckle when it comes to Bill Simmons and him breaking news and all that other stuff. I would say take what you're hearing from him with a little bit of a grain of salt, but if that's what he's hearing from his respected sources, you kind of have to take that at face value for what it's worth. There's still a part of me that's trying to hold out, I'm not going to lie to you guys, in hopes that the NBA is able to work out some type of a deal with TNT and the inside guys will continue to be doing their thing on there. We'll see what happens, but I hope it's not the end because, I mean, man, it feels as though we would be losing family members for those of us that check out the NBA and we've been watching inside for all these years. It feels like we'd be losing some loved ones there, man, but still so much in the air. Anything can and will happen. Hey, we also got some interesting news to talk about in regards to WOW Women of Wrestling, as yours truly has spoken off the record with a handful of talents from the promotion that had a lot to say in regards to what all went down pretty much going into the weekend with the Tonga twins saying they made their exit from the promotion as they are calling Women of Wrestling, what was it they used, the terminology, an evil promotion and all of that. Yeah, you're going to find what I have to say very interesting as far as those that I had spoke to. Very, very interesting, so definitely stick around for that. But first things first, segment that I like to call We Can't Leave This Out. It also used to be known as Gotta Get This Off My Chest, but now we're having it go under the moniker of We Can't Leave This Out. I want to give a heartfelt, and I got to say this at the top. Because I don't want for the show to end on a Debbie Downer note. I definitely want to do my best to end it on a very high positive note and everything. So I don't want to get the somber stuff out the way right now. I appreciate the many of you guys that went out of your way to offer condolences, best wishes, thoughts for those that maybe are not aware of what's going on. My pick-a-me's for 16 years. 16 years she lived on this earth. Maggie, she passed away last week. And it was so heartbreaking because her health, as the month had went on, and my wife and I, we had decided to take things with Maggie month by month. And she had been on medicine for her lungs, and she has fluid in the lungs, and then she was having congestive issues with the heart. So she was on two different types of medication, I would say, for maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years. And I didn't learn this until after Maggie passed, and my wife basically gave it to me right between the eyes, which was, I didn't want to tell you because I know how emotional you would get and everything, but when an animal is given those type of prescriptions that Maggie was given, it's only a matter of time before she succumbs to those issues that's happening with her health. Nothing that you can do as far as the medicine goes, even if you were to up the dosage, it's not going to stop the issues that she's having. It's just going to help her cope a little bit better with. And I told her straight up, yeah, I'm glad you didn't tell me about that because I definitely would have been a mess. But no, we decided that, I would say maybe 5 or 6 months ago, we were kind of looking at Maggie one day and we both were thinking, is it time? And my thought process was, man, if we can just get one more year out of her, my wife going, yeah, no, I don't see that happening. We'd be lucky if we can make it to the end of summer at this rate. And the weirdest thing, because not this weekend, but last weekend, right? Not this past weekend. So not this set, but the previous weekend, Maggie just had this burst of energy. She was playing with my other two dogs. She was running up to us, greeting us, eating big portions of food, drinking her water. It was one of those cases where, oh, wow, she's back to her usual self. Okay, she's having some good days here. Okay, and today is a great day, particularly Sunday. It was a fantastic day for her. And then I would say Monday night going into Tuesday, she started doing the usual stuff, but it was amplified. And what I mean by the usual stuff, walking around in circles. And for those that are longtime dog owners, when something like that is happening, that is a sign of dementia. Something neurologically is going on, with that dog, especially if it's a senior dog, as is the case with Maggie, because 16 years and you break that down as far as dog years goes, she lived to be 109, just to really give you guys full context. But yeah, started losing more of her bowel movements. It was bad. It was really, really bad. And normally we would be used to seeing her do stuff like this, especially the going around in a circle, just head first, nonstop into a wall, wherever. She would do that for maybe about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And normally, if we picked her up, put her in her bed, she's chilling, that kind of resets her. But this was a case where, oof, it was bad. And it got worse by the hour, on the hour, that as we went into Tuesday, it was just so bad. And then she was starting to make little noises here and there. That by the time we got to Tuesday night, it was just all hands on deck. I mean, she was making the weirdest cries. I won't go too much into detail, but it was just the most, like, she was in pain and she wanted to have us nearby. She would not stay in her bed for nothing. And at this rate, we decided, I'm telling you all this because we had decided, okay, you know what? Let's just have her make it to Friday. If we can have Maggie make it to Friday, then we'll, at least this way, it gives us proper opportunity to say goodbye. We can have the other girls say their proper goodbyes and give her a proper send-off and do it that way. And we were denied of that because as we went into Tuesday night, going into Wednesday, her condition just took a serious nosedive for the worse that, we hardly got any sleep. I was lucky if I had got an hour of sleep. My wife didn't get any sleep at all. She spent the final 3 hours just having Maggie in the bed right beside her, caressing her and, just talking to her and everything. And Wednesday morning came, and I think you guys know the rest. So it was very unfortunate. We were prepared for Friday, but she left us so suddenly. I got in contact with the good folks at Chewy to let them know what was going on, to basically let them know, hey, look, we're no longer going to be needing medicine for Maggie, and explaining the reason why. And total sweethearts. They wrote the most, compassionate email to us, letting us know that they were thinking of us and everything. And then to add just a little bit more touch of, well, that's classy. By Friday, we had got a nice bouquet of flowers from Chewy. It took us off guard, I tell you. It took us off guard. Something else that had came on Friday, but we didn't get around to it until Sunday of all the days. It was Mother's Day. We had opened up a card that was from our animal hospital where, Maggie and all of our other dogs received their shots and all of that. But where that pretty much was going to be Maggie's final resting place, they sent us a really nice card that had multiple prints of her paw and everything, and just what they shared in that card with us. It was just, So I really appreciate everybody that went out of their way to wish me and the missus nothing but the best, offering condolences. I laid low on social media. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I took it easy, after that, because I was just in this dark headspace. Like I said on social media, if you're following me, not to go on and on and on, but there's only but a few things that I can really be proud of in my life where I go, I did this relationship right, and hey, the good things that came from out of this relationship. My wife taught me how to be a better person and really love myself and challenge myself. But Maggie, truly the first dog I've had. Again, 16 years. That's a long time. Maggie, first ever dog that I've truly owned, loved, treated her like a daughter. So that's going to be staying with me for a very long time. I know somehow I got to push forward. But yeah, I tell you what, just going to social media, letting everybody know what was going on. I can't tell you how therapeutic it was, and just so many people that just came from all out of the woodworks, either hitting me up with a private message. Some people had my phone number and were texting me, and family was checking in. I appreciate you guys. Seriously, everybody, I appreciate you guys big time. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Definitely from the bottom of Tammy's heart. Appreciate you guys. And look, not for nothing, if you've never shopped with Chewy before, I'm not a paid sponsor, right? But I tell you what, just the way that they had handled us, if you've never bought products from Chewy before, I can definitely highly recommend them. Top-notch customer service. I like the touch of that human compassion that they give, man. Just really nice touch. So that's that. One day at a time, right? So tonight's WWE Raw. Continuation of our King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. Some good stuff, as we got some interesting developments. And I tell you, I like the straight up, no nonsense. Let's just get right into the action. Let you guys know what's going on with the card and everything. Solid in-ring action overall tonight. I loved it. We had a couple of King of the Ring matches that went a little bit deeper, as Io Sky took on Shayna Baszler. Yo, I loved that matchup for what it was worth. As soon as I saw those two, I said, yeah, let me get my snack and let me have a little bit of a beer or two, because I definitely want to watch this. I love this. This was one of my favorite matchups of the night. Io Sky getting the victory a little bit over the 10-minute mark as she was able to pull off her over the top moonsault from the top rope, picking up the win and everything. Love this one. Excellent chemistry. The history between these girls as well. Everything played out so beautifully in this matchup. Chef's kiss. I've got no complaints about this one whatsoever. I see there was a decent amount of people that was showing some love for this matchup as well. So that lets you know that these girls definitely have found their right pacing and everything. But I thoroughly had enjoyed that matchup for what it was worth. Io Sky advancing, so of course she would wait for the winner of Zoey Stark taking on Lyra Valkyria for the Raw semifinal side of the Queen of the Ring tournament. Ugh, King and Queen of the Ring. It could be a little bit of a tongue twister, yeah, a little bit of a tongue twister. But anyway, to that matchup we go between Lyra and who was it? Lyra and wait. Hold up a second, guys, because according to my notes, let me just make sure I got the right girls in place. I did say Io Sky, Shayna Baszler, correct. So we've got Io, who is waiting on the winner of Zoey Stark and Lyra Valkyria. And it's a tongue twister. You guys got to work with me. I'm going to eventually, because I know I'm kind of mispronouncing her last name there. I'm going to get it right eventually. It just takes a little bit of time. It's a tongue twister, though. I wish we could just call her Valkyrie. I should just start calling her Lyra Valkyrie or Valkyrie. I like that name. Just rolls off the tongue a little bit better for me personally. But this match, first of all, very short matchup. Didn't help that there was a commercial break that was in there as well. I've watched enough NXT and to feel the crowd still being indifferent to Lyra, I find that very troubling. And WWE is doing everything right as far as having her, in which the way they're representing her, the way they're trying to introduce her to the WWE masses, taking it to the point where she's getting that rub off with Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan. They're doing everything right, but the crowd just continues to be so indifferent to her. But I'm hoping that things turn a corner for the better for her next week, because for the women's semifinals, it's going to be Lyra taking on Io Sky, and without a doubt, that should definitely be one damn good matchup. A damn good matchup that should really showcase the hell out of what Lyra can do and everything. I like the touch that they had of Lyra making her presence felt in the Becky Lynch Dakota Kai match. Dakota bumping like a mofo in that matchup, by the way. I mean, she was giving me shades of the Hulkster and Shawn Michaels, the way she was bumping around for Becky Lynch. I'm not saying she was overselling, but man, it was just, damn, she's taking some nice bumps, right? You got the Fall Guy movie that's running around right now. Well, she was out there definitely rocking as the Fall Girl as far as I was concerned. This match ended in a DQ, as in the final minutes of the matchup, Becky Lynch managed to slap on there the disarmor, but then the other members of Damage Control jumped on her. That pretty much threw the match out. So Becky Lynch essentially winning via DQ. Kind of a weird matchup here, because it seemed like the few times that I was peeping out this match, I mean, I watched all of it, but it just seemed like there was key points where the girls weren't exactly on the same page on this one. I wasn't really a fan of the ending as well, but I understood it, because as soon as I saw the finish, I'm immediately saying, all right, we're going to have Lyra come out here, right? And sure enough, Lyra comes out there, nice save, But then Liv Morgan comes from out of nowhere and rams Becky Lynch into the steel post corner. Lyra couldn't get her hands on Morgan in time, so that was a nice little touch that we had going on there. Drew McIntyre was in the house, still very salty over what had went down with CM Punk from last week. Fans in attendance here at the South Carolina Bond Wellness Center were under the impression maybe they were going to see them some CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre breaking those hearts, letting the fans know, yeah, he only is going to show up in the big cities, brother. I loved it. I loved it. Drew McIntyre continues to be on a roll here. Fans chanting for CM Punk. I loved how McIntyre was talking about how CM Punk, the greatest trick that Punk ever pulled, was looking like a drug addict despite never taking any drugs. Huge pop. I just laughed my behind off on that one. So many levels. I loved it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Loved it. Talking mad trash, though, promising that he's going to get his hands on CM Punk one day and he's going to beat him up so bad that he'll wish that all he had was a torn tricep. Turned his attention to Jey Uso next. Not happy with the fact that Jey Uso took his championship match opportunity and pretty much it got squandered. And now look, Jey Uso is essentially getting another opportunity in his eyes by participating in the King of the Ring tournament for the men's side and all that. So not happy with that. Promises he's going to be dealing with Jey Uso at a later time. Turns his attention to Damian Priest next, saying he couldn't even get that far with Damian Priest because Damian Priest pretty much came out there and gave him a strong dose of truth serum, letting him know, hey, you want to blame me, but buddy boy, you got the ball started first. And those of us that's been watching this program for a while, we don't even need to go down to revisionist history. We know everything that's been happening involving Judgment Day, Drew McIntyre, and all of that. Remember, Rhea Ripley had originally tried to recruit Drew McIntyre, but for whatever respected reason, those things did not fall into place. So this is an interesting development that's been going on here, but you think about CM Punk and how he's intertwined there, but then you're also looking at what's going on with Drew McIntyre and how he's intertwined with so many rivalries that's on the horizon for him when he gets back into the ring. I'm loving what's going on here. This is just continuing to be some of Drew McIntyre's best work as my man is on a roll when it's all said and done. Let's look at some other matches that went down on the card tonight for Raw. I'm just looking at my notes here real quick. Gunther taking on Kofi Kingston. Gunther advancing in that one. By the way, I got to make sure we showed some love to Zelina Vega and Bobby Lashley. Apparently, those two had got injured. And so as a result of them getting injured, they're not going to be able to go any further in the King of the Ring tournament. So I don't know exactly what's going on with the SmackDown side of things right now with the bracket. I sadly did not watch SmackDown. You guys will have to forgive me, but I think many of you guys that were with me for the first 13 minutes of the show, you understand. You know, obviously, you know, I did not, other than what I had did with Rampage for the 401 Mania site on Saturday night, I didn't check out anything else wrestling related. So maybe what I'll do once I have the audio version of the show almost complete, maybe I'll just slip in a little something right here talking about the SmackDown side of things for the King and Queen of the Ring tournament there. Let's see. But Gunther, Kofi Kingston. Yo, I love that matchup. We got that on tonight's docket. I love that. I mean, I'm telling you, the quality of the matches since this tournament has been doing its thing since it started. It's been on point. It has been on point. I freaking loved it. These two worked very well together. We saw something new as far as the move sets go from Gunther tonight. It was nice seeing him add a couple of new things to his repertoire and all that. Uh, he still is coming into these matches like a beast. He is still coming in there looking like a very dangerous bad man when it's all said and done. This man could go all the way. I remember when we first were talking about the brackets and I saw Gunther was in there. I said to you guys, this man could go all the way. Kofi Kingston holding his own very well against Gunther, too. I love this. Seriously. It wasn't a case of David versus Goliath either. I want to make sure that I stress that. No, if anything, this was just one of those. Okay, can the in-ring speedster that is Kofi Kingston with all that savviness that he has, will it be enough to overthrow the in-ring general who just has the most heavy-handed chops and slaps in the business? And then when you want to talk about just as a technical wrestler, I mean, definitely. I know Bret Hart, he's got his issues with my man, but Gunther is a freaking beast. Gunther's a freaking beast. Bronson Reed squash match against Akira Tozawa was what it was. What else? Sami Zayn taking on Otis. This was a non-title matchup. Zayn picking up the win. I mean, this was, my God, like a 2-minute match, if even that. Whatever. Creed Brothers taking on Judgment Day, taking on New Catch Republic, taking on the Authors of Pain. This was a number one contenders match to figure out who would go on for a future shot at the tag team titles. That's held by Awesome Truth. Judgment Day picking up the win. This was after Carlito made his presence felt. Earlier in the night, Carlito was trying to do his best to make his greatest, I guess, recruit pitch to the Judgment Day, why they should have him come on board and everything. Damian Priest not having it, right down to the point saying, look, I don't care about you personally, dog. They can do with you whatever, but I don't care about you personally. I don't need you in Judgment Day for all I care. It is what it is. Carlito promising that he was going to change Damian Priest's mind, and this is pretty much what he was thinking about. I know referee was distracted at one point, and that gave Carlito an opportunity to attack Pete Dunne on the outside. Baszler, JD were pretty much able to take advantage of that, and that's how they were able to pick up the win. Later on, backstage, Carlito coming up to Judgment Day, feeling as though he proven his worth. Damian Priest giving them dabs, saying it was cool what he did, but also letting them know at the same time that if he's going to be part of the Judgment Day don't like punks. There ain't no punks in their stable. Pretty much letting them know, because he did jump out there, Damian Priest did, letting them know, hey, Rey Mysterio, you need to take care of that. So, seems that Carlito's got the admission into the Judgment Day, but so long as he want to be in good graces with Judgment Day, he's going to have to make sure he's taking care of his business there with the 619. We'll see how all of that plays out. Main event match, King of the Ring, quarterfinals, Jey Uso taking on Dragunov. Hard-hitting matchup. That ending came out of nowhere. I got to be honest with you guys. I did not think Jey Uso was going to win. I thought for sure they were going to be going with Dragunov here. I must admit, I was a little bit disappointed to see Dragunov lose, because there was that big part of me hoping that we would see on a grander scale Dragunov Gunther. Oh, what a great chapter to pretty much introduce to the mainstay WWE fan base. And we even got the tease as the two of them had came across one another backstage before Dragunov came out for his match. So it's nice to see that WWE is going, yo, this is going to be good. Hey, for those of you that know your history, you know this is good. I like that tease. But wasn't meant to be tonight. Was not meant to be tonight. It sucks because that, I feel, really would have made, for me personally, Jey Uso is already a made man. This is all about properly introducing Dragunov, building them up and everything. There's just that part of me that feels, man, Dragunov, this should have been, even if you were going to have him lose, maybe just have him go a little bit deeper into the tournament. You already laid down the foundation earlier in the night when Drew McIntyre pretty much was saying, yo, Jey Uso, I got that receipt for you. I'm going to handle you later. You could have very easily maybe had Drew McIntyre interfere in that match, cost Jey Uso the win and the advancement there. But it has me wondering, okay, where are we going here with Dragunov? And I don't need anybody jumping out there saying, they've buried Dragunov. Stop with that terminology. My God, it's still freaking early. It's still freaking early. My man ain't even been part of the Raw roster for a month yet. Let's just hold our horses on that one and just wait and see how everything, plans out and everything. But Dragunov, and the fact that Jey Uso would be Dragunov clean in the middle of the ring as well. Look, on the one hand, you can look at all of that and you can just say, okay, so for the Raw men's side of the King of the Ring, is going to be Gunther and Jey Uso. Oh, wow. Like that should, if y'all remember Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns, which was a damn good matchup. And now you're looking at Jey Uso taking on another big man and Gunther. You know it's going to be good. The only question is how damn good is it going to come anywhere close to the level that Jey had in his match with Roman? We'll know very, very soon. But overall, as far as tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, another edition that was heavily focused on the in-ring action, the quality of the matches at that. The formula worked yet again here. I always say quality over quantity wins any day of the week, and that's exactly what we had going on here. Damn good quality. You got two big showdowns that's going to be happening next week. Great hot show in front of a great hot crowd there. Good stuff. Good stuff. Streak of solid shows continue here. So that was Raw in a nutshell. Appreciate you guys that's taking the time out, checking out this episode. If you haven't done so already, you know what time it is. Show that love. Hit the likes, all that jazz. Helps out a big, big, big deal as gets more eyeballs on the content. So do that and thanks in advance. Let's get into some wrestling tidbits for those of you that's tuning in. Make sure you stick around now because I've got a exclusive as far as WOW Women of Wrestling news goes. There's been some interesting drama that's been happening with that promotion going into the weekend. And if you're on social media, you've been on social media within the past 24 to 36 hours, there's been a lot of interesting things being posted. We'll get into all of that in just a little bit. But first, some interesting little tidbits of news. So, I don't know, maybe you guys are aware of the pay-per-view service In Demand, but they are shutting things down after 40 years. Can you believe that? After 40 years. I don't know which is even more crazier. The fact that they are getting ready to shut things down, or the news that took me by surprise. I didn't even hear about this until my wife had told me about it about, I would say, maybe an hour ago. And I just went, damn, when I heard the news, and I believe that has to do with Red Lobster. Let me just see if I can find that message for you guys real quick, because when I saw it, I said, "Holy shit!" Yes, here it is. I'm looking at it right now. It's loading up. Yeah, apparently Red Lobster, in my respective neck of the woods, they've abruptly closed all of their locations here in the not just the Maryland area, but apparently all the Red Lobsters have abruptly closed their restaurants across the country. I just couldn't help but look at that and go, "Oh my God, oh, oh no, like uh, no more cheddar biscuits." You know, my wife thought I was joking, but back in the day when I used to be doing my thing with dates and all that, it was, "Yo, we going to Red Lobster. We gonna get them cheddar biscuits." And I would normally joke with my wife. I would say to her, "If we going to Red Lobster, I'm definitely." let me choose the right words. We definitely gonna be doing it tonight. There you go. I'll say it just like that. And I remember she popped so hard when I said that joke to her. Oh God. But yeah, I don't know what's more crazier is the fact that we got all that stuff that's going on with the Red Lobster, or the fact that after 40 years, the pay-per-view service In Demand is over and done with. I've got so many fond memories of In Demand. I can remember trying to check out certain pay-per-views because I didn't have the money at the time, so I would just settle on that little weird rainbowish, staticky kind of screen or wiggly screen, but I could see just enough where if I adjusted my antenna a certain way, or if I played around with the back of the cable box and played around with the wires back there a certain way, I was able to see just enough where I could make out everything that was happening and all that. And I could feel like I was part of the conversation and on the whole thing when I would go to school the next day after a pay-per-view from WWE and all that. I gotta tell you, a lot of us guys back then when we were teenagers, that was our way of also trying to see if we could look at some adult film content as well. You know, rinse, repeat. We used to try to do the same damn thing. Funny, I know. Kind of sad too, but hey, when you're a growing young man and you're discovering yourself and all of that stuff, right? So, good folks over there at PW Insider, shout out to them. They report that the pay-per-view service In Demand, they made the announcement they were going to be shutting down operations next year. So that's going to pretty much close them out after 40 years of service when it first launched back in 1985. CEO Dale Hopkins said that they would shut down at the end of 2025. Pay-per-view distribution will then move to Comcast, Charter Communications, and Cox Communications. It was originally called Viewer's Choice. Shout out if you remember that, because I definitely do. It became In Demand in the year 2000. In the year 2000, I was the distributor for all major pay-per-view wrestling events at the time. ECW, I know a lot of you guys remember that. They had to fight with the service to be cleared to air on there back in the 90s, if you all recall. So a lot of fond memories, not just of wrestling, but adult film content as well through In Demand. But look, in this day and age that we're in right now, where, look, really stop and think about it. Why pay $59.99 or however much the price is now to check out a pay-per-view in 2024 and beyond when you can go on ahead and just pay $9, $10, almost close to $20 for a premium live event through a subscription, package deal that's available exclusively from a streaming service. This is the day and age that we're in right now as far as cord cutting. So many Americans, definitely outside the U.S. as well, but the impacts have greatly been felt, particularly in North America, by so many people saying, nah, man, I'm not interested in paying damn near $280 a month for a internet TV package deal. So a lot of people aren't even going with the residential phones. When you hear residential phone, you just go, wait, you're still pushing a residential line? Are you kidding me? Like, who does that in 2020? You'd be surprised. But no, a lot of people are favoring, no, man, I don't want to do this bundle deal. I don't want to be tied down to a long-term contract. I just want to be out. Let me just go pay for my internet over here, which is going to be, 50, could be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, almost $90. And then I'll just add on the most basic package that's humanly possible. Maybe Hulu, or hell, maybe I'll get YouTube TV. Hell, maybe I'll go get this over here, and then I'm good to go. So, I don't blame people that are operating in that fashion, because especially in this day and age of inflation. Look, I was watching the news, and I don't know how many of you guys have been on top of your news and everything, but I saw this funny news report the other day. It ties into everything I'm talking about with, trying to save money and all that. Saw this news report the other day that had me and my wife talk for a little bit about it. And McDonald's, they're trying to roll out this new deal where you can get certain foods bundled up for $5. So maybe that includes a small thing of fries, maybe a cheeseburger, maybe a filet-o-fish sandwich, just a regular fish sandwich, maybe a McDouble. And they're trying to have all this be included in a $5 package tier, because they don't like what's going on as Americans are scaling back on eating out at restaurants. And I remember saying to my wife, if they were really smart, why don't they just bring back the $1 cheeseburgers like they was doing back in the day? I mean, they was doing it in the late 90s, early 2000s. Won't they just go ahead, bring that back? Burger King at one point, they used to have that same thing. I think it was a $1 rodeo burger. Shout out if you remember that. That joint was on point back in the day. Meanwhile, you've got Wendy's. They're doing the biggie bags, which is $5. They've been doing that for a minute, which is a good deal, by the way. 4-piece nuggets, small thing of fries. You get a Dave's Jr., whatever they call the burger. You get that. You get all that for $5. That's a pretty good deal. Hell, Subway, they're not even doing the $5 footlong joint anymore. So everybody's now trying to compete with one another. If you were watching WWE Raw tonight, you saw multiple times that now even Pizza Hut is getting back into the whole spin of it. They're now trying to offer their version of a $5 meal. It's a $6.99 meal where basically you can get a personal pan pizza and some boneless wings, or maybe you can get a personal pan pizza and French fries. I went on their menu because I was just curious what all they were offering. They've got melts that they're offering as well, whole melts, bottle of soda to go with it. Interesting little stuff. The highest that you'll pay I saw was, depending on where you live, highest I saw that you'll pay taking advantage of that meal is $12.69. I would imagine that's flat out it, including the taxes, $12.69, because that's such an odd number. But even they're trying to get back into the mix and everything. Everybody is trying to make a deal so that they can keep money coming into their pocket, while at the same time the consumer is led to feel as though they are saving some type of money as well. And in a day and age where people are not interested in having, Comcast cable or DirecTV satellite dish and, you name it, because you're tied down. You remember how it was almost 3 to 5 years ago whenever you would join any of those major cable satellite providers? Remember how they used to bribe us with sign on board and get a $200 gift card, or sign on board with us and get a $300 gift card. And you're like, hey, yeah. But you had to put a lot of work into getting that gift card, because it wasn't going to be as easy as join us and then bam, 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 you get the gift card. No. You had to maybe pay 3, 4 months of your bill consecutively on time, making sure that there was a zero balance. Part two of that, you had to have the service for a certain amount of time before you would get that freaking card. And then even at that, it would take anywhere between 3 to 5 weeks to get that card. Remember that? 3 to 5 weeks to get that card. So when it's all said and done, yeah, it sounds good right now that they're going to hook you up with a $200, $300, maybe a $400 gift card. But you ain't going to be seeing that damn thing for at least 4 to 5 months. So if you was hoping to do something good with that in time for Christmas, depending on when you got that service, you was not a luck, okay? You know what I'm talking about. Oh, Lord. But anyway, looks like the aggravated assault case has been dropped against AEW wrestler Cash Wheeler. His trial was set for, I believe, this week. If not this week, definitely sometime this month, his trial was set. But it looks like everything's been canceled. His trial for a charge of aggravated assault with a firearm thrown out. Prosecution opted to abandon the case, and the case is officially closed. Wheeler does not have to worry about any additional legal troubles from that situation. As far as I know, does not have to worry about a retrial. None of that. If I were to speculate as far as why everything was just dropped, I think at the end of the day, he said, she said, but in this case, he said, right? Because it was a guy that was, wow, and you can see all of this that was happening in this other vehicle, and he was able to do all of this. Just, how were you able to see all of this, my dude? Seriously, what, did you have like a camcorder? Did you have binoculars? How can you see all of that while you're driving at such an accelerated speed while trying to maintain control of your vehicle at the same time? And you're able to see all of these things? I don't know about that, Tim. So it kind of sounds to me like when it's all said and done, oh, snap. Are you serious? Are you serious? Let me find out he's back. Oh, snap. I was just glancing, like once in a while I look up at the screen and everything. And apparently, shout out to my man, Joe Numbers. Joe Numbers is back on the Facebook. All right, my dude, about damn time. That's good. But yeah, I would imagine that there was a whole lot of stuff that just wasn't concrete. So many holes in this guy's story about, and at the end of the day, it was a situation where, yeah, we don't have enough where we can get that conviction. We don't have enough where we can, for your pain and suffering and all that other crap, there's just not enough. Let's just let it be over and done with, and good. That's good. I just hope that Cash Wheeler, look, let me tell you something. I've watched some of those new TV shows that's running around. What's the newest one that they got on ID, Investigation Discovery? Road Rage? I think that might be the name of the show. You don't need to watch that. You can always just watch some of the stuff that's on YouTube and get a general idea. I hope Cash Wheeler, for his part, and only he knows what he is guilty of from that day when he was out there on the road. If he did show some form of road rage, I just really hope that going forward, he learns from this, and with all the stuff that's out there on social media, when you turn on the news even and you hear about these jacked up stories where this road rage incident had happened, I hope that Cash is much smarter going forward. And when he finds himself to be in a situation where things could escalate quickly and you're behind the wheel of a vehicle and you don't know that other person just as they don't know you, you got to assume, I hate to say this, but you got to assume the worst. You got to assume the worst. Now, that don't mean you got to shoot a mofo. I'm just saying you got to assume the worst. And so, however you may be as far as treating people, that other person might not be that same way. You feel where I'm coming from, people? So, my pretty babies, if you are always so cordial, respectful, and everything, the strangers that you meet in public, especially if maybe you inadvertently cut somebody off behind the wheel and maybe you're at a stoplight and you apologize to them, you get their attention, all like, you got to assume that, my wife says it best, you got to drive out there not just for yourself, but you got to be driving out there for other people. And part of that, if somebody cuts you off, they're speeding up only to cut you off, almost kind of blindside you and all of that. As tempting as it is to honk on that horn, you got to pump the brakes, and you just got to, just slow down a little bit, give them their space, let them do their thing, and they're going to be they're going to be out of your vantage point in just a few seconds. Just endure it and just keep on going, because you don't know what that other person is capable of. We had a situation out here in D.C. last week where there was a mom who had her kid. There's a mother, a father, and the daughter. I think the daughter was maybe 2, maybe 3 years old or whatever. And they were just chilling in their car. They were just driving. Next thing you know, I guess they cut a car off or something, because next thing you know, this guy just unloads on that vehicle. And the daughter was killed in the process. That 2-year-old daughter was killed in the process. We've had a couple of situations like that over here in the D.C. metropolitan area. Mofos are just crazy. So you really, really got to be careful out there. I hope that for Cash Wheeler's sake, he's getting away scot-free, but hopefully he's also looking at this as a teachable lesson and is definitely saying to himself, okay, make sure I don't put myself in this situation again by doing XYZ. Switching it up a little bit, last week we were here on the show talking about Ric Flair and Paisanos. Where we last left off was Ric Flair talking about how he was going to bash these people on social media and telling them to pay attention to social media the next day, because he pretty much was going to light their behinds up. You remember that? And I was here on this show talking about how people were reading in the Ric Flair's posts, and they all were going, yeah, Flair, you told them, yeah. And where we left off last was the fact that the owner of that Paisanos establishment had said, well, we reviewed the footage. That's where we left things. The owner of that Paisanos in Gainesville, Florida, talked about how he had reviewed the footage and found that his staff was not at fault. No video was released yet at the time that we were talking about it last week. Well, video footage was released. And we see Ric Flair acting like a complete ass. Just a complete ass. He denies that he was intoxicated at the time. I beg to differ. I'm sure many of you that saw the footage beg to differ on that one. Poor choice of words though with the way things were transcribed, especially in regards to what Ric Flair had said. Like, just it just reminded me of what's that George Michael song from back in the day, Fast Love. Well, that part of the song, in the absence of security, on my mind. I think he said, I have Cupid on my mind. Right? So why don't we make a little room in my BMW, baby, right? But you know the story with George Michael, right? He got caught in a bathroom doing some things that he had no business doing. I just couldn't help but think about the part where Ric Flair says, look, it's just me and him in the bathroom, and just the phrasing of some things, I'm just going, dude, poor choice of words. Like, don't. And the thing about looking in between the crack of the stall and like, no, Flair, you're alone on that one, my guy. I don't do that. Sorry. No, I don't do that. When I go into the men's room, to each its own. When I go into the men's room, if I got to do number 2, what I do as soon as I open that door, I drop my head all the way down so I can see if there's feet. That's what I do. I don't be looking in between the crack trying to see what's up. Hey, I don't want to give off the impression I'm looking for a show. Okay. No, teach it all. I've never done that. I have never done that. Look all up in the cracks. No, I don't do that. If I gotta do number 2, I'm dropping and I'm going. Now, if I gotta do number 1 and I see that the urinals are occupied, if I can see as soon as I open the main door that the bathroom stalls are open, okay, right? It is what it is. But if I come in there, the urinals are occupied, the bathroom stall doors are closed, okay, I'm still at the front door. I'm still dropping my head. I'm doing. That's a guy, knows that head drop I'm talking about. You're dropping that head and you're going, is there feet? And if you don't see no feet, you're like, okay, I can just go ahead. Nobody's in there. The stall is just shut completely. That's all. And you go do your thing. So he's alone on that one. He's alone. Woo! He's alone on that one. Let me tell you that right now. But, I appreciate him manning up, saying that he got pretty hot-headed there. Things didn't need to escalate the way that it did. And I appreciate him manning up and saying all of that, but really stop and think about this for a second. He's only apologizing because the video footage was put out there. And I liked how, I don't know who his lawyer is or whatever, but somebody must have told him, yeah, as far as suing that establishment, that ain't working because, that's public property, right? That's public property. So if some type of an incident goes down, some type of a crime, right, everything's videotaped. So, they're protecting themselves. That entrepreneur, that respected business, they're protecting themselves and their employees. That's why that footage is there and everything. So I would like to believe that when Ric Flair was trying to, hey, can we sue these people? Woo! Why I got him sounding like Bill Cosby, I don't know. But you get the point that I'm making. I'm sure that the legal representative probably said to him, yeah, no, that's not happening. You might want to, and we see him walking it back now, right down to the point. Hey, no hard feelings. Actually ordered through Paisanos from Uber Eats later that day. Had some stuff delivered to him and all that. I honestly believe if it wasn't for that video footage that was put out there, I think also whoever represents his team had did their own respected research and gave it to him right between the eyes, like we had told you last week. This chain, as Flair was talking about, I'm about to put you guys over. It's like, dude, pretty sure you didn't put them over in 2000 because that's how long they've been in business. They initially were just a little pop-up stand or whatever. They went from that to owning 13 chains of paisanos, little mom and pop chain, mainly all around the Florida area. Right? They pretty much did all that through their blood, through their sweat, through their hard work. Ric Flair didn't, he didn't really do anything for them, right? So I believe, though, that if it wasn't for that video footage that came out, and then an owner that saw that video footage got behind his employees, to the fullest degree, very quick to put out their own respected statement. If it wasn't for all of that, Ric Flair just would have been having a continuous field day with those people when it's all said and done. But this is a strong reminder of be careful how you treat people in public, especially when you go to some form of a public establishment where you're getting that face-to-face customer service, because 1, you don't know who's around you. 2, you don't know the respected connections that they may have to people. They may know somebody in the news media organization. They may know somebody that's a vlogger, that's a social media influencer. I'm not saying you got to walk on eggshells. It's just you got to be careful. It's no different. I remember when all of this was going down, my wife had told me, ties perfectly into the whole Ric Flair thing. I'm not talking about this just to talk about it. It ties into the Ric Flair and how you need to treat people and all of that. But I remember my wife shared with me this story a couple of days ago of how she had met with her father, my father-in-law. Same one. I know I haven't given you guys an update in a while. Same one that was in rehab and all of that. Physical rehab. He was doing physical therapy and all that because he just had a whole bunch of health problems. Dehydration being one of them. There was malnutrition, a whole bunch of other stuff. And we hadn't heard from him since we picked him up, checked him out of the facility, took him on home. It pretty much was, yep, I'm good. Thank you. Bye. Now, off. Okay. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Well, and I'm saying to my wife, next time he ends up being in that position again, you make sure he don't call us. He call his roommate or whatever, because not cool being used. Right? Right. I mean, he's being fed good meals while he was up there. And, if y'all can bring me some Cheetos and some Diet Dr. Pepper. Like, what do you need that crap for, Pops? Like, that's bad for your health. Like, that's not real food. You got to get some actual nutrients in your body. Not saying you got to do a hard 180, but you got to eat more veggies, blah this, blah that. And, yeah. So make sure you bring Cheetos, crunchy, and Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever, dude. So my wife a couple of days ago was telling me how Pops called out the clear blue. And he sounded all sweet and everything. Oh, just wanted to know if you would like to go grab some lunch with me. And she's thinking to herself, maybe this is part of that new turn of the page in life for him. And he's trying to do right. And part of that is also, hey, I want to treat you. I want to take you out for lunch, right? Because she's always paying for his meals. That is usually one-sided. So she goes, she meets him. She's waiting on him. It gets later and later. What was supposed to be 1:30 turns into 2. Then it's 2:30. Then it becomes 3. Now the latest, it's 3:30 before when he finally shows up. Okay, whatever. So they go to this gas station because she needs to load up on gas for her SUV. Pops goes in there. He's like, I want a candy bar. So, I mean, he literally pulls a Ric Flair as far as how he treated the staff at this Paisanos. My father-in-law was a complete asshole. A complete asshole, okay? He goes in there, picks up whatever candy bar he's trying to get, dumps all these freaking coins, and says to the cashier attendant, "This is what I got. Tell me how much that is." And so the cashier is, and I've been to this gas station before. They are friendly mom and pop gas station. Those days when the weather is really ridiculously hot, they will come out there. They'll offer you free bottles of water, all that good stuff. They're top-notch cool. They're cool people. So my father-in-law dumps all these coins. Attendant is counting it all. And he goes, "Okay, so you have blah, 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 blah. You need," and I think he needed maybe, I don't know, 65, 70 more cents. My father-in-law is so damn stubborn when it comes to hearing aids. He doesn't want to push your hearing aid because he thinks it'll make him look weak and other stuff. So he would rather you essentially yell at him, or whenever he goes, "Huh? What? What? Huh? What? Huh? What?" Okay. So the attendant is speaking up and he's saying, "You only have, and you need," and my father-in-law screams at this guy at the top of his lungs, "Well, what the do you want me to do about it?" I asked my wife, she's telling me this, my eyes are just popping out of the sockets, and I'm saying to her, "Where were you when all this was happening?" She's like, "Oh, I was a few customers behind, and I was just shaking my head in embarrassment." Finally, one guy, much like with the Ric Flair joint, remember the guy that said, "Hey, I don't work here, I'll fight you, let's go outside." Remember that? We had one guy in this gas station that was ready to beat the holy hell out of my father-in-law. He goes, "There's no reason to talk to him like that. If you got an issue with what I'm saying, we can go outside." And, my father-in-law's like, "What?" He's like, "He's simply telling you how much money is there and how much more you need. There's no reason to talk to him like that. He's a human being. He's just doing his job." So my wife finally steps in, and she goes, "Just go outside. I'll pay for the rest of this." She pretty much. And I said to her, "And you had the nerve to take him to whatever restaurant afterwards?" And she goes, "Yeah." I go, "Oh, hell no, that wouldn't have been my black ass. I would have just said, after that stunt, I would have been like, 'We're going to the McDonald's drive-thru. I get you something off of whatever, take your ass home.' That's how we're going to do that." Right? She's like, "Yeah, I know I should have done that, but, ain't no buts." It's like, that's exactly what you should have done. Right? You can tell a lot from a person. I have this old saying, and it rings true in 2024 and beyond. If you want to know if you're dealing with a potential asshole, you want to know if you're dealing with somebody that is just really bad with people or whatever, I always say, give them the ultimate test. And this test can be applied, doesn't matter how old you are. You could especially apply this test if you are new to dating and you're trying to get a feel for how this person is. See how that person is when it comes to children, pets, the elderly, the disabled, and those in blue-collar jobs such as working as a waiter, working as an attendant, a cashier, some type of valet. See how they treat those people. If they treat those people like crap, then you know without a shadow of doubt. Like, okay, maybe you could say, let me give them a pass because maybe they're having an off day. 2 or more occurrences, hate to burst that bubble, but you're dealing with an a-hole. That's it. plain and simple. And like I told my wife, I said, you know what's so shocking? Because I told her about the Ric Flair situation then, and I think by that point the video came out. Yeah, and we were talking about the video. Matter of fact, I showed her the video and all that, and she was just shaking her head, just embarrassed for Ric Flair and everything. And I told her, I said, bringing it back to Pops, I said, you know what's so surprising about your dad, hun? And she goes, what? The fact that your dad worked so many decades doing blue-collar work. You would think that that correlation, you know, you're at the gas station and you're dealing with, you know, somebody that definitely has experienced quite a lot from that position, that blue-collar position. You would think there'd be that camaraderie, there'd be that brothers in arms, and he'd be respectful. And you know, she paused for a second and she said, yeah, you would think so, right? It's like, I don't get that. It's like, I was embarrassed. And I told her, I said, look, I said, you got a reputation to maintain. This is my message to anybody, too, that has a friend or a family member that acts like that. Remember, you've got a reputation that you've got to uphold yourself as well, especially if this is happening in the neighborhoods that you frequent. You don't need to be associated with that, right? Guilt by association. You don't need that, right? So, yeah, you want to just keep as much distance from that as humanly possible. If anybody was part of Ric Flair's party that weekend that he went, and I'm sorry that they had experienced what they experienced, I'm sure that they were looking at that going, WTF, how the hell are we going to get out of here without making it seem so obvious that we're uncomfortable? Because nobody should have to. I don't care how much money you got. Those are men and women at the end of the day. Those are adults, young adults. Those are people with feelings. And I always say, treat people the way you want to be treated, I would think, with respect. And even if whatever the hell happened in that bathroom, that man, Ric Flair, felt somehow, disrespected or whatever. Like, kudos to the employee for saying what he said. I'm sure the employee basically was like, hey man, this guy is acting like or a son of a, we gotta, and they didn't kick him out. They just told him, hey, we're cutting you off. So if you're not drinking, you're denying that you were intoxicated, then why is the staff saying we're cutting you off? There's just so many things in there that just, you go, come on, man, just own it. Just own it. Why are we being a little kid about this? Why are we even trying to play the victim game? Just own it already, dude. Seriously, because it's sad and it's freaking pathetic on so many levels. That's my 2 cents on that when it's all said and done. Something else you guys want me to get into before we get ready to get off the air, let me know. I'm ready to get into the main meat and potatoes of tonight's show, which ties into WOW Women of Wrestling. Now, before a lot of you disconnect, this is a juicy story, one that's going to be catching headlines within the next 36 hours, because what I'm getting ready to tell you will be published, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be circulating what I'm getting ready to put out there to you guys. So let me give you all a little bit of context first, right? For those of you that need to get caught up to speed, especially, Tonga twins, they are ultimately related to the Anoa family in WWE. They are two twin sisters that I've seen work for WOW Women of Wrestling these past couple of years now, okay? Tonga twins put out a statement pretty much going into the weekend where they said deuces to WOW Women of Wrestling. They also called the promotion evil and said that, hey, they got a lot more that they'll say in regards to the promotion, but that they'll tell that story at a later date. So you're seeing that, you're going, man, what the hell is going on here? And you see other people that's responding to their posts as you're like, wow, there's so much mystery that's going on here. What the hell? So Simone Williams, who works for the Wow Women of Wrestling promotion currently as Princess Aussie, she put out a statement where basically she says that the Tonga twins were bullying people backstage. There was another wrestler by the name of Heidi Hordzizer. I think she was known as maybe, I'm trying to think, was she known as Wrecking Ball in Wild Women of Wrestling? I'm trying to think of her name right now in WoW, and it's sadly not coming to me. You guys got to forgive me. But she pretty much retweeted what Simone Williams had said and doubled down. Hey, sharing these same sentiments, basically calling out the Tonga twins' actions behind the scenes as well. Your man here did some investigating. Yes, I actually do investigating from time to time. And as I've said to you guys repeatedly over the years, when you've been around for as long as I have, I've been doing this show since 2011. I have talked to just about everyone that has been very kind enough to give me their time that works in the wrestling business. I'm friends with people that are currently in the business. I'm friends with those that used to be in the business. I've got respected connections here and there. I reached out to a few people from the WOW promotion, those that know of people in the WOW promotion, but the information that I mainly have is basically firsthand knowledge. So firsthand knowledge coming from those that worked in the promotion. Just what the hell is going on here? What's going on with the Tonga twins specifically? So some of the talents that I spoke to, of course, they would only speak to me as long as their names could be redacted. I said, yo, that ain't no problem. That ain't no problem. Some just wanted to get some stuff off their chest to an outsider. They wanted their names to be redacted as well. Okay, no problem. All right. First things first, in regards to the Beast, I'm continuing to hear nothing but good things about her. Hardworking woman, very sweet, a true professional, very, very green. Very, very green. And I think anybody that has a set of eyeballs can definitely tell that. Even when you're watching her in a match that is obviously cut up, it goes through so many edits, you can still tell, even by looking at it, that, very limited move set, but you know what? It is what it is. Okay? One wrestler, I'll mention that later, but in regards to the Tonga twins, I've had people say to me that Tonga twins were very protected in the promotion. One wrestler who received training from a WWE Hall of Famer talked about how the twins would show up at this Hall of Famer's training facility, and they didn't have any money for training, and constantly this person would look the other way, so they kept getting free passes. I'm told that the only reason why the Tonga twins worked for WOW Women of Wrestling in the first place is because Tessa Blanchard really liked them. Now remember, there was that period in time where before Tessa Blanchard was done working with WOW Women of Wrestling, she had a hand in the recruitment of all the talent. She was going to those tryout shows and she was helping out in the recruiting process. And apparently she really liked the look and everything of the Tonga twins. But essentially that is why they ultimately ended up in WOW Women of Wrestling. I was even encouraged to go back and check out all of the Tonga Twins matches because there were those that, and I made sure that when I was cross-referencing, hey, I'm hearing, can you confirm, deny, is it exaggerated? And it's, no, no, no. Yeah, I would agree. It is blah, 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 blah. I was told by a few people, go back, check out all of the Tonga Twins matches and Wild Women of Wrestling. You'll see that it's essentially the same dance every single time. There is a reason for that, and the reason for that is because they cannot put a match together if their life depended on it. They have to constantly rely on other people to help get them over, which brings me to another point that was made by my sources, which is, when you're looking at these matches and everything, you got to keep in mind that these girls, the way they're trying to be booked, they are both around 5'8". They're not really big girls, and yet the way that they are trying to get over, they're trying to ensure that they're not taking hardly any bumps. Going back to their matches, if you notice, most of their matches, it's either DQ or some cheap roll-up. Like, there is a reason for all of that. Some believe that they were positioned in the company, really just based off of their looks, and that it was their egos that got the best of them, as they are very inexperienced. Keep in mind that the Tonga Twins never wrestled on the independents. They never did that grind. Now, before somebody says, oh, well, they did one match here on the independents, or they did 2, maybe 3 matches here. Hey, that's nothing compared to actually doing that grind, going to those training academy schools, right? Maryland Championship Pro Wrestling, or, you name it, you throw it out there. They're not doing any of those things, but just the combination of all of that rubbed a lot of people in the back the wrong way at the end of the day. They don't train at all, to the point that there was a set of tapings that WOW held in December of last year, where one of the Tonga Twins showed up, passed out due to dehydration and being out of shape. I mean, just really stop in and think about that. That is just, wait, what is going on here? I'm told by multiple people that's watched their matches or wrestled with them and against them that, again, they don't know how to put a match together and have to rely heavily on others to get them over. They refuse to bump for certain people due to their size. Again, even though they're not big girls. Another issue, which was the main issue that rubbed a lot of the talents backstage, is the Tonga Twins would always tell those that were within earshot that WWE is interested in them, right down to the point they had said that there was a set of tryouts that they were supposed to receive from the company. But if you kind of know how WOW's contract situation is set up, that's kind of hard to do. That's kind of hard to pull off, right? So some felt that this was maybe a straight up lie. Okay? Take into account that also they were selling WOW merchandise under their own personal brand. That is a big no-no, because the Tonga Twins, everything related to the Tonga Twins is a WOW creation. WOW owns all that. They do not. So that brings me to another point, which is, you ever notice how some of the women in the promotion, they've got the name that they're pushing under WOW, and then they'll have their indie account, their personal account or whatever. So they're pretty much double dipping and they try to do their best to keep everything separate. Yeah, there is a reason for all of that. So it's kind of unfortunate where we are here at this point with everything that I've gathered about the Tonga twins. I was even told repeatedly that they've injured a lot of people during their time in WoW, and that got them a bad reputation for being unsafe. One person that I had spoke to, when they found out they were going to be involved in a match against the Tonga twins, they had said straight up, okay, yeah, saying to themselves, I got to somehow figure out a way to get out of this, because at this point they had heard about how unsafe they were and they didn't want to take the risk, so they faked like they were sick in order to get out of the match. It worked, and whoever was booking, they went in a different direction. So yeah, that is what all is going on there for those of you. Oh, something else that was interesting, going back to that whole WWE thing. Okay, so if the end of the day is trying to get into the WWE, which they constantly just kept over and over and over again. I mean, it really irked a lot of people out because they're looking at this and they did not like the fact that here they are dedicating their time and energy, believing in the WoW promotion, trying to do everything they can to, help elevate the promotion. And you've got these two individuals over here that's pretty much doing everything in their power to WWE, WWE, Bloodline, all of that stuff. And it's, what the hell, right? So that definitely rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But going back to WWE, I was informed that, and I'm just trying to make sure that I can mention this part here. Give me a second, because I have everything typed up ready to go for publication tomorrow. And yes, I can mention this part. So, the thing I just said about WWE. Well, here's something of a nugget of information, very, very interesting. Tonga twins apparently went to a tryout, or they went to the facility that TJ Wilson and Natalya have. Apparently there was a lot of people that were doing different set of cardio drills on this particular day. Tonga twins would not have anything to do with the cardio drills, and instead had said, we're not doing that. We want to do the wrestling. We want to get in there and we want to do the wrestling. So let us know when you're getting ready to do the wrestling. Irked off Natty so much that Natty kicked them out, told them to never come back. So something's not adding up here, because if their goal is to go into the WWE and you have this opportunity to do some type of training with Natty and TJ Wilson, why would you not, even if it's cardio drills, why would you not get in there and show what you can do, try to impress, if at the end of the day you're going to be able to possibly get in their ear and they can maybe put in a good word for you and all that. So kind of interesting what's going on here, but so many talents ended up feeling so uncomfortable working with the twins that they ultimately, in their own respective ways, whether it was phone, talked to him in person, or sent an email, so many talents reached out to WoW's David McClain with their concerns. And it seems ultimately WoW went in the direction that it did in regards to dismissing the Tonga twins. Now, in regards to Vicki Lynn McCoy, also known as Kelsey Lynn, I'm told that she was just straight up mean, disrespectful, egotistical, much like the Tonga twins. But case of Vicki, Lynn McCoy was causing up a lot of drama in the locker room. It got to a point where she almost got physical with another member of the WoW roster, but luckily it didn't escalate any further. But management, becoming aware of everything that was transpiring leading up to that point, and they feeling as though, okay, you know what, it's time that we went in a different direction. Now, I just want to say this for the record. When the Tonga twins initially put out their first statement concerning their exit from WoW Women of Wrestling, I reached out to them individually, wishing them the best, told them I was a fan of their work, as I think they've got a great look and style as far as I'm concerned. And I did say to them, hey, anytime you are willing to maybe share your story, definitely, hey, I'm an option for you. I did offer them a chance to share their stories whenever they were ready, and that offer still stands. I also reached out to WoW Women of Wrestling directly to ask them to comment on the situation. At this time that I am on the air right now, which is now Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, they have offered no comment. Now, this isn't a case, for the record, this isn't a case where, oh, yeah, I hit up WoW and, I didn't get a reply back. There's nothing going on. Nothing of that nature. It's actually the opposite. They do not. I was contacted back by WoW's PR team and all that other good stuff. No comment. No comment at this time. So David McClain and crew, there's no comment from them at this time. So that's where we stand on all of that right now. It's not my job here to pick a side and tell you guys this is the side that you got to stay on. I'm just giving you the information. You all can make with it what you will. I know this much. Anybody that at one point worked for WoW Women of Wrestling and or currently works for WoW Women of Wrestling, now that you have heard what I've compiled so far, if you all would like to reach out and you want to talk to me privately, you want to go on the record, but you want your name redacted, we can do that. Whatever works for you, makes you comfortable, put you in the best position possible, that you won't get any blowback from management. Happy to help. But this is where things are right now as far as those that I've reached out to and spoken with, cross-referenced, and try to make sure certain things was matching up, and this is the case of where we are right now. So, it's rather unfortunate. So you may have noticed on social media that there are a lot of members of the WoW roster that's getting together, and they all are pretty much sharing the same message about, hey, this is really a great company, and contrary to, some of the stuff that's being put out there, no, not the case at all. This is truly a sisterhood, and just take notice of the women that are stepping forward and they're speaking their piece. Notice the fact that a lot of these women that are speaking their piece have been veterans of the industry for a good minute now. Make sure you peep notice of that. And also think about, okay, these people that are speaking out, have they ever been involved in any type of controversy, anything negative, anything where, man, they're catching a ton of heat? These people that are speaking up for the promotion. Understand something, at the end of the day, I know I've done my fair share of interviews with the WoW promotion. I am at a point right now, though, where for me personally, I'm speaking just for myself here, Lee Sanders, just detached from the promotion. For me, this isn't about sucking up. This isn't about, my whole thing is what's going on here. Can we get to the heart of the matter of this? I want to try to hear from all sides in regards to this. So, hey, the best thing I did, I gave WoW an opportunity to offer a comment. And I promise you this, they definitely, by the time I publish the article, I know they're going to see my name attached to it. And you know what? If it means that I'm no longer on the list to do interviews, hey, I gave them a chance to comment. They didn't want to comment. I don't look at this as putting WoW in a negative light at all. I'm just reporting what my respected sources have told me. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm not even choosing a side. Not even choosing a side as far as I'm concerned. Just laying it all out there is all I'm doing. So that is everything that's been going on with WoW and the people involved in a nutshell. Okay? So other than that, just trying to think if there's anything else that we can get into before we get ready to roll out. We've been on the air now. Looks like we've done about an hour and 35, now 36 minutes from what I'm seeing. It's been a relatively quiet week and a half, has it not? I mean, as far as wrestling news goes, not really that much out there, which is good, right? Which is actually pretty good. So I know when I'm mixing down this audio in the next little bit, if anything happens to transpire, I will definitely slide it into the audio version of the show for on-demand and downloads. I know there was a minor update in the Janelle Grant, Vince McMahon, WWE lawsuit. Nothing too earth-shattering there, but I'm still paying attention to that, seeing where everything goes with that. Yeah, but really there's nothing else for us to get into wrestling news-wise. So as far as upcoming shows go, I think I'm going to actually come on the air. Oh, let's see. I'll probably come on live. Maybe we will do something this maybe we'll do something this Friday night, potentially Saturday. Have to wait and see how that's going to play itself out. Your man's still going through the motions, but I'm getting better by the day. Like I said, just putting it out there on social media, interacting with you guys. It's helped a great ton. So I greatly appreciate you all's best thoughts, wishes, and everything. But yeah, I'm thinking probably. And I'll tell you something else that's been that's been helping as well. The fact that I have just been engulfed in my classwork for this semester, that's really been helping me take my mind off of, everything. And also the wifey's upcoming B-Day party, that's been helping as well. If you all have not signed Tam's birthday card, you all definitely still have time to sign that card. I'll actually post that bad boy. Give me a second here. I'm looking for the link right now. I'll actually post that bad boy in the chat for you guys, and you all can feel free to sign that as soon as you get a minute here. Okay, so I see the link. What I'll do is, see, can I go live right now? Let me see. I'm trying to go into the YouTube live chat and pretty much post it in there. And while that is happening, I got to say, as far as how I'm seeing the NBA Finals play out right now, I think it's going to come down to the Boston Celtics. I'm seeing the NBA. I think it's going to come down to the Boston Celtics. And then for the West, God, I'm just thinking about the West. Boston Celtics for sure, I'm seeing. I think for the West, Man, it's so tough for me to call. Seriously, it's very tough for me to call. Maybe. Mm, God damn, that's a tough one, man. Seriously. That is a tough one, man. Maybe I really like the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm not going to even fake. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves is the more hungrier team. Man, can you just imagine, though, the Timberwolves? Can you just imagine the Timberwolves and maybe, I know in regards to Mavericks and Thunder, that series is tied 2-2 right now. Next game ain't going to be until, what, Wednesday? I think Wednesday night. Oh, damn, that's going to be a tricky one. That is going to be a tricky one, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. But I'm going to say Boston Celtics in the finals for sure, based off what I've seen from the East. And I think for the West, I'm going to go with the Memphis Grizzlies. I think the I'm sorry, Timberwolves. Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves are going to pull it off and get to the NBA Finals. That's how I'm seeing it right now. What are you guys thinking for the NBA Finals? Sound off. Let me know. But yeah, I'm thinking probably Friday night or Saturday night, do a show for you guys. Wait and see. And like I said earlier, peep out that article. I'm going to put the finishing touches on that and then try to schedule that for release late Tuesday morning. So be on the lookout for that one. Meantime, be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. I'm glad we're still on the air. I knew I was forgetting something important. Shout out to my girl, LaFisto. Been a fan of hers for many, many years. LaFisto, in case you all are not aware, she is going through some serious health problems right now. I definitely want to show her a lot of love. As LaFisto, it looks as though she's doing an auction right now. You go on her website and she is just selling off a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of stuff. And she's trying to raise money so that she can have everything that she needs for when she comes to Florida, as she's going to be getting her surgery there. And she's got this very bad health condition that's going on. You can actually read about this too on her GoFundMe page. If y'all can bear with me, I can actually tell you guys what that is all about. Hang on here. And apparently, LaFisto, there's something going on with her PayPal, by the way, because I had messaged her. I'm sure she don't mind me saying this. I had messaged her and I told her straight up. I said, "Hey, longtime fan, supporter, but first time buying stuff from you." And I'm kicking myself in the ass, going, "Dude, you've been a fan of LaFisto for all these years, and you got your cool ass wrestling shrine in the background and everything, and LaFisto's nowhere to be found. What's going on with that?" And so I said to my wife, I said, "Hey, I want to represent and get some stuff from LaFisto's store because she's having some health problems and all that." And wifey was like, "Oh yeah, sure, honey, go ahead, no problem, I understand." And she's heard me mention the name LaFisto before, so she's like, "Yeah, go ahead." And later on, she was like, what's going on with her, as far as her health goes, is everything all right? And I told her, no, she's not doing too good and everything. And LaFisto said it best a couple of hours ago in a post, because she's getting some weird, creepy bastards that's hitting her up, asking her for nudes in exchange for money just so she can get her surgeries. And it's like, what the hell? Like, come on, dude, really? You really gonna come at the girl like that? Like, that's just so freaking disgusting on so many levels. Like, nah, man, that's not cool. But she's got this condition called lipo lymphedema. And she had encouraged people, hey, if you don't know what that is, go and, look it up, educate yourself and everything. And it basically ties into the thighs. If any of you guys have ever noticed, Lufisto, she's always had those. I think Mish said it best. Shout out to Mish. He's like, she's always had those Chung-Li thighs, right? She's always had those thick, thick, thick thighs. Can have that nice tiny waist, nice hips, but thick, thick thighs, and everything. And the signs of that includes swelling of part or all of the arm or leg, including fingers and toes, feeling of heaviness, tightness, restricted range of motion, recurring infections, hardening and thickening of the skin. So basically, fibrosis, fat buildup in the buttocks, thighs, calves, and sometimes upper arms, bumps inside the fat that feel like there's something under the skin, pain ranging from mild to severe. A lot of this is what has been hindering Lufisto's health as of late, right down to the point when it comes to the range of motion, just doing the most simplistic things. It's very difficult for her to move around and everything. So, the sooner that she's able to get the surgery, get her treatments on and all that, the better. So I know in regards to my legs, I'm not making it about me, by the way, but just thinking about health, I got to admit, Lufisto definitely inspired me. I'm sure she'll definitely appreciate hearing this, but hearing what was going on with her, it definitely inspired me because my doctor has been trying to get me for months upon months upon months to get my legs checked out because with diabetes, as many of you guys know, usually there's some type of nerve damage that can affect the arms and or the legs, and so you got to always be on top of that, making sure everything is in working order. So hearing what happened with Lufisto, that definitely got me saying, okay, let me get the ball rolling and let me make sure everything with my legs is okay. I've also held off a retinal screening, diabetic screening. I've held that off months upon months. It's like, okay, let me go ahead, just make sure everything is on point, right? Even if I'm feeling good, it's, and like I said to my wife, I said, some days I feel really good. I'm like, there's days where I feel really bad. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie to myself anymore. There's been days where my legs have felt like crap, where I feel like it's been difficult to move around and other stuff. So it's like, well, let's make sure everything is okay. Maybe I'm just dealing with some type of fatigue, or maybe I'm still dealing with the effects from when I fell down the stairs. What was it? Maybe 2 weeks ago. I know I told you guys about that already, but maybe I'm still somehow dealing with the effects of that. So it's good to, get checked out and everything. But she's got a GoFundMe page up. I would highly recommend you guys head on over there, represent, check it out. Now, she doesn't have that as part of her. She doesn't have that as part of her link. I don't even see it mentioned on her website. But she did officially recognize the GoFundMe for anybody that's following her on Facebook. She did officially recognize it because there was a fan that pretty much worked in conjunction with her to launch it and all that. But if you go on the GoFundMe site and you type in Lufisto, she's the first one that you see. The first one that you see. And it says, support Jen's journey to recovery. Benjamin Kamira is the one that had launched it. She's trying to raise $40,000. So far, there has been 57 donations for a total of $3,532 at the time of this recording right now. So for those of you that are able to kick in and contribute, if you can't contribute this way, even by going on her website and buying autographs, whatever merchandise, anything that she has up for auction on her website, wardrobes, things of that nature, all of that is still going in one kitty, which is to help her get the surgery that she needs. And you can read a lot more about her condition and what's going on with her. Because she does a really good breakdown educating you all on why she needs this surgery. And you know, it sucks. It really, really sucks what's going on. So if you guys are able to give. If not, share with those that are able to give. I'm sure they'll greatly appreciate it. And now more than ever, I would highly encourage you guys, until further notice, you hear from her on social media, I would highly encourage you guys to give first through her GoFundMe, because as of a few hours ago, and I'm upset for her, PayPal is giving her issues. There is, hang on here. Yeah, apparently PayPal has restricted her account as she was trying to gather funds for the surgery she needs ASAP. Hopefully that gets resolved rather quickly. So, because I know I had put in an order with her earlier, and she was telling me, hey, this, your first order, that went through, no problem. Your second order, like, can you look into that? For some reason, it's on hold. And I'm going, well, the funds are good at my end. Like, I'm still in the positives over here by, a decent amount. I'm like, yeah, let me check. Let me see what's going on. And everything was still cool on my end. So I ended up just sending her that same amount again for my second order. It was all supposed to be one order, the way she was supposed to package it. But for whatever respective reason, hiccup, it was what it was. So I said to her, okay, well, I said, well, look, I just sent you another joint. See if you can go ahead and pull that. And apparently now she's saying that PayPal has restricted the account. Normally, in my past experience, when PayPal restricts your account, they are seeing a unusual flow of activity. And as a result of that, they restrict the account. It's happened to me, and I've had the same PayPal since, my God. God, I have had the same PayPal. I might have changed emails. I've only changed emails, though, twice in my entire life that I've had PayPal. I go as far back as PayPal as 1998 or 1999, I think, is how, definitely the early 2000s, like for sure 2002 on, I've always had PayPal. So, and it's only happened for me twice as far as having the account be restricted. And like I said, normally it's restricted because there is a unusual flow of activity. It could come in the form of, hey, all of a sudden you got all this money being sent to you. Or it could be a case of, hey, all of a sudden you've got this money and you're just transferring it. You're transferring it rather than, okay, I'm going to let this money just continue to sit, and then I'll just come back maybe every 3 days, 4 days, and I'll withdraw that way and rinse, repeat. Usually, if there is that type of weird flow of activity, they'll do that. So hopefully, and I'll actually reach out to Lufisto and let her know, hey, this is what's up. But apparently, she's trying to see about a alternative here. So hopefully she'll be able to figure that out. But yeah, definitely reach out to her and let her know, hey, heard from Lee Sanders over at the RCWR show, like, GoFundMe, like what'll work best for you. I'm sure she'll definitely appreciate that. All right, so that note, and speedy recovery to LuFisto. Speedy recovery to LuFisto. Sincerely, I hope the surgery becomes a success and all of that. Hearing stuff like this, I got my own little ideas as far as maybe how we can try to generate even more money to try to help out LuFisto. I'm not going to reveal that right now, though. But I'm going to have something working behind the scenes for sure. But anyway, that's it. We're at about an hour 55. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Okay? Get at me on social media, X, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. We didn't talk about Sky Blue, did we? I'm going to make that an audio exclusive, by the way. So make sure you're represented and check out the show for on demand and on the downloads. I didn't get a chance to talk about all that controversy that was going on with Sky Blue because it happened long after we were off the air for the week. But that's going to be a download exclusive. So make sure you check that out. If I don't do a show for you guys this weekend, for sure, your next edition will be coming at you all next Monday night, May 27th, 2024. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you may have missed on demand and on the downloads, my pretty babies. Just search the RCWR show. And until next go around, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you all next go round. Adios, y'all, and take care.